Hello and welcome to the first episode of Daniel Bret on YouTube. The purpose of this channel is for me to show you some of my hobbies and teach you how to do it yourself. There are a lot of things I like to do around the kitchen, so probably a lot of it is going to have to do with cooking or baking or even sometimes alcoholic beverages. Now let's introduce our ingredients. Some halibut, it is so good. I've got some Sel St Cruz from the Two Brothers Spice Company. These are jalapenos and garlic, and I had them infused in some vodka. I'm going to use the byproduct to help cook and make the halibut delicious. As a side dish, I'm going to go with some rice, and I ate all of it, so I've only got a half cup left. Yeah, there's a 2/3 cup, but it's up to the half cup fill line. And I'm going to be using the Cuisinart rice cooker / vegetable steamer. Now for the halibut, I'm going to be using the Foreman grill. This version is an improvement over some older versions that I've heard of in that this actually has trays that can come off, so it's much easier to clean than older versions. Now I also need to talk about kitchen safety, and I'm not saying it because you don't already know that knives are sharp, cooking surfaces are hot, and whatever else is going on in the kitchen can do you harm. I'm telling you because even though I'm experienced in the kitchen, I make mistakes as well. So I happen to have cut off the tip of my pinky finger with a knife. I was not paying attention, so please always pay attention, be safe. But first off, I need a drink. So I'm getting out right now is a mint rosemary vodka infusion that I made last December, which actually was only a month ago. And this is my absolute favorite. I will show you how to do this later, just like I'll show you how to do the garlic and jalapeno infusion. But anyway, I'll get more into that later in another video. But right now, I'm going to have some myself. It would definitely work well as a mixer, but honestly, especially this one, the Rosemary Mint, on its own, so smooth, so delicious. So, let's get to cooking. First of all, thaw out your fish, which is what I did in the fridge overnight. I'm going to use a sharp knife, so once again, be careful. This is just a KitchenAid, very good quality. I've got no complaints. So I'm just going to cut it open. Now I caught this halibut last August, near the end of the season, so it was only a 15-pounder, but you can get hundreds of pound halibut. And that is a lot of meat. 2 15-pounders filled up my small freezer, so I'm not too worried about the fact that I didn't get a huge, trophy halibut. No matter what size it is, it's going to be delicious. Halibut is a very mild flavored fish, so whatever you want to do with it, you're going to want to put strong flavors on it. And for those of you who don't like fishy taste, like canned tuna, I highly recommend halibut. I like to keep things simple, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to use the salt that I showed you. It's got lavender, thyme, lemon peel, shallots, and sage. And so, I'm going to pour some on here. And rub it in, so you can spread it out, and you don't want to get it too much in the nooks and crannies, because then you're going to get one bite that's just all salt. So spread it out. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to add a little bit of oil. This is just olive oil. I just put it in a easy to pour container. Just a little bit of that. And then vodka jalapenos. and garlic. So you can just pile some of this on there. You can eat this, but I'm just using it for flavor. So I'm just going to pile it on. It's going to add some spice. It's going to add just that garlic flavor that I absolutely love. So before I start cooking the halibut on the George Foreman, I'm actually going to start the rice because the rice is going to take longer than the halibut will. So I've got a half a cup of rice, and from what I've experienced, 1-for-1 water and rice works pretty well. So plugged in, set it to cook. Now here's what's easy and awesome about this is when you switch it down to cook, it'll cook and you just leave it. And once it flips to warm, your rice is done. And that's all you have to do before serving it. So now it's time to move the halibut over to the George Foreman. So we open it up. It's preheated. So you just move it straight over. Sounds so good. And then bring down the top. And I'm going to set the timer for 5 minutes. Until then, cheers. The timer just went off and our rice is really getting going, so that should be done relatively soon. Now, the reason I set it for 5 minutes is so I could add some lemon juice. I'm just using Safeway store brand. Oh my gosh, it smells so fantastic. So now we're going to set the timer for another 5 minutes and put the lid back down. Okay, with less than 4 minutes left on the timer, our rice got done. Now, just to give you an idea of what that looks like, and you can probably hear it, so let's put it back to cook, and then what it's going to do is just flip up to warm automatically. See? Perfect. Now use the rice spoon that it comes with. And we are going to stir it up a little bit just to make sure it doesn't burn. Speaking of burning, a little bit of browning is being done, so I'm actually going to unplug it because this stays on warm as long as it's plugged in. So keep that in mind either when you're preparing to cook or afterwards. It's going to keep it warm, which is awesome, but you're also going to dry it out and possibly burn it if you leave it on warm all the time without switching it off. So while the halibut is finishing up, I'm actually going to serve the rice because it's almost done. So just put it on the plate. I recommend just putting the glove on, grabbing the cooking insert, serve it on out. Okay. So we got a minute left on the halibut. So while we're waiting for that, cheers. Alright, it's time. So what I'm going to do is keep it on for now, but I'm going to see how well done it is. Take a fork. Just have a look inside, and it should be opaque white. If you see any almost clear meat on the inside, it's not done. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it off and unplug it. Now the George Foreman comes with a little handy spatula thing that fits in with the grooves. I use it for cleaning, but it's also good to separate the skin and scales from the meat of the fish, or to scrape off these other ingredients such as these jalapenos and garlic. Yeah, perfect. So all these chunks are coming off, and the skin and scales are staying behind. Now this is a very healthy and very filling meal. So I'm actually just going to stick with this one plate, and I'm going to put this in the fridge, save it for later. I love leftovers. So of course all I have to do is put that into a Tupperware container. Enjoy my halibut. It smells good, and come here, you. That's amazing. Try this at home, and I promise you, I'm going to teach you how to make the infused vodkas. It's really easy. Cheers, have a good dinner, have a good day. I really burped halfway through that sip. Done.